Good morning, fourth grade. Today we are going to again review writing equivalent fractions as decimals and fractions using tenths and hundredths because I know we had a little bit of trouble with it. So I'm going to go over the classwork we had from that day here for examples for you, and then we're going to try and do it again ourselves. And I'm going to try and explain it in a little bit of a different way that may be more helpful to you. So for our classwork the other day, we had for questions 1 to 3, write the number as hundredths in fraction form and decimal form. Now it's important we read the directions in hundredths form. This number right here is 5/10. Some of us just went ahead and wrote it again and then wrote it as a fraction. Now what we're being asked to do, we need to read the directions. We want to write our numbers, so we're going to have 3 different tenths, 5/10, 3/10, 8/10, in fraction form and decimal form. So to write 5/10 in decimal form as a hundredth, to make it a hundredth, I multiply by 10, which will equal 50 hundredths, because we know, look, 5 times 10 is 50. So you would write 50 hundredths as a decimal, and then the way you write that as a fraction is 50 over 100. 50 as a numerator, 100 as a denominator. Same thing for when it's written as a fraction. 3/10. 3 times 10 is 30. 10 times 10 is 100. So it'll be 30 hundredths. And then you could just write that as a decimal. Now, 8/10. 8 times 10 is 80. So that'll be 80 hundredths. And then you write it as a fraction. 80 as the numerator, 100 as the denominator. Now, if you notice, when you're changing a tenth to a hundredth, you're just adding a 0 because you're multiplying by 10. Look, everything adds 1 0 because you're multiplying by 10. Now for questions 4 to 6, it said write the number as tenths. So that means you're getting it as a hundredth. So you will do the opposite. If we multiplied by 10 to get a tenth to a hundred, you will divide by 10 to get a hundredth to a tenth. So 80 divided by 10 is 8. And we know we're changing it to tenths, so it will be in a tenth, as 10 is your denominator, or we know 100 divided by 10 is 10. And then as a decimal, we simply remove the 0 because we are dividing by 10. 80 divided by 10 is 8. Same thing for the fraction, again on the bottom. 2 tenths, we're dividing by 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 100 divided by 10 is 10. And we're doing a 2, and then the same thing for a decimal. You'll divide 70 by 10, it'll be 7, so it'll be 7/10 written as a decimal, and then you would write 7/10 as a fraction with 7 as your numerator, 10 as your denominator. So look, when you're changing from tenths to hundredths, you're multiplying by 10 and adding a 0. When you are changing from hundredths to tenths, you are subtracting a 0 because you are dividing by 10.